Hi, everyone. My name is Ryen Rapp. I am with the Master in Teaching program, MIT 501. This is for the summer 2022 class. And today I will be presenting on the people of the Quinault. The people of the Quinault are the Quinault and Quinault tribes, along with descendants of 5 other coastal tribes: the Quillette, the Hull, the Chehalis, the Chinook, and the Cowlitz. They form the Quinault Nation. So you not only have your tribe, but you have the nation itself as a whole. The coastal natives of the Pacific Northwest were among the richest of the 3 main Pacific Northwest native peoples, which would be the coastals, the plains, and then that's Pierce. This is due to the location on the Pacific coast, where they had tons of abundant resources. All the salmon you can imagine, timber, many wild berries. For the most part, the coastal tribes did not have to do what the tribes in this area, the Richmond area, they didn't have to follow food as much. It was right there. Everything they needed was right there. Although they did have to deal with a lot of rain, which is why the Quinault rainforest exists. So they had these huge lodges where they would stay throughout the winter months. Now, the Quinault spoke language called Quinault, which is a Salish-name language of the Pacific Northwest. And what Salish is, that would be part of the same language family when you think of Nooksack that we just read about, and the Squamish. Now, there are currently no fluent speakers still living of the Quinault language. However, youths have taken up the banner to find more in this language. And I, in fact, am finding a lot of resources that are brand new that are just kind of popping up. And I'm really interested in getting into more of this. The current tribe has an enrolled population, if we learn what an enrolled population is, through the readings, of 2453, with a little under 3,000 natives total living on the reservation. Now, where is the reservation? I didn't put a picture up for it. There's a reason for that. It's because everybody knows the state of Washington and how it works. So what you do is you go to the coast, you go to the peninsula, and here's Ocean Shores, and here's the Pacific Beach, and you just keep going north a little bit more, and there's the Quinault Nation. Yes, they have. The Quinault Reservation has its own casino and lodging, which has just recently been remodeled and refurbished. And quite popular. Hosts a big motorcycle race. But above that, you have the Quinault rainforest, and of course, you have over 40 miles of reachable beach that is reserved for the reservation. In fact, you cannot go onto those beaches without reservation permission. It's something that I want to strive for, actually, because it is such a beautiful area. You'll notice that even the background picture here, that's part of the rainforest. And what makes the tribe so interesting, and they describe this right on their website, is they still walk these same properties that their predecessors and ancestors did. This is very much similar. It's not the exact same, but similar. Now, currently, the nation is headquartered in Tooele, Washington. They are moving their headquarters. They started the project. I think it'll be done pretty in the next couple of years. They're moving it to higher ground to protect against tsunamis and flooding zones. Now, this is interesting and important because in the history of the coastal natives, back around the beginning of the 18th century, around 1700, there was a huge tsunami. Nobody knows quite what caused it. There wasn't any record. Nobody was writing anything down. There was nothing up here except natives. But you can go and you can see the ghost forest. And what that is that's a forest that still exists, but not in the way that you would think of a forest. So they're moving their headquarters, which I think is kind of a neat thing. Now, why did I choose them? And what was a cultural feature that I really wanted to focus on for this little presentation is the potlatch, which potlatch or potlatch means to give or a gift in Chinook jargon. Now, Chinook would be the coastal tribes, part of the Squamish peoples. Jargon, keep in mind, just means kind of like, slang. The potlatch is perhaps the most unique and interesting tradition of the coastal natives. I got these words off of the website, so I just wanted to go through their actual meanings. The potlatch is a traditional gift-giving ceremony in which clans and families distributed wealth throughout their communities, establishing a gift economy. These potlatches encourage wealth distribution and help to build tribes based on social equity and communal responsibility. So a little bit about what it was. It was given by somebody usually important, to validate their social position. So if you just recently got married, you would hold one for your married children and deaths. I mean, they would throw these huge gatherings. And the main purpose was not about the occasion, but the claims of social rank. And what that means is, it meant giving your stuff away, showing your bounty and giving it away. Think of if Jeff Bezos invited everybody over to his house and said, "Take what you want. I can always replace it." That would be a potluck. And I think that's really interesting. It was banned in Canada for about a 70-year period, and was also frowned upon by white settlers here because it was the center of a very non-Christian culture. We believe in capitalism and getting what you can, and here they are getting what they can and then giving it away. And I pick that because I think it is such an interesting icebreaker into teaching Native history, because it is something that kids can relate to right away. Because it's such a neat idea. The picture focused here is from a 1922 potlatch, which took place in celebration of a 1921 potlatch in Canada that got broken up by the police. So what is the connection to the curriculum? Well, STI curriculum calls for high school age students, which I want to be to study the fish wars, which connect the coastal peoples of the Pacific Northwest tribes. The fish wars were the result of the Stevens treaties that were signed, and in the 1960s and 70s, civil disobedience protests resulted in what was called the Bolt decision, that stated the tribes had not been given their rights by the settlers. There was no treaty. Instead, the natives had agreed to share, and this was them taking back what they rightfully wanted to share with us, and then we took more than what we wanted. And when I say we, I do mean colonial settlers. As a white man, I have part of that as my responsibility. I included a link here to the Fish Wars. It's an awesome website. I wanted to include this one separate of my get a chance, click on it, check it out. Another thing about the STI is that it wants high school grade students to know, how does the physical geography affect Northwest tribes' culture, economy, and where they choose to settle and trade? That is the potlatch as an entry point. They had so much bounty that they felt it was their need to share it. And I think there's an important message there. I think it really connects how the culture operated. The resources into the tribe, you can look up the Quinault Nation's tribe site, great site. I also included a couple others. Quinault Rainforest I include here because you can go visit it. I mean, it's a 6-hour drive and it is gorgeous. And you are going to be, if you get deep in that forest, you are right where they were hundreds and thousands of years ago. It's quite unique, and definitely why it's a national forest, why it's worth preserving, as is the tradition and cultures. The Fish Wars site, I put it back on here for you again so you can see it. The potlatch found goes a little bit more into explanations. You can see here, this is the when one of the seafaring canoes of the coastal tribes came up, and you can see the people there. This is very recent, so this still happens, and it's something you can take part in. If you want to look up any of these websites, the Quinault site, the potlatch site, you can find access to when the next one's planned. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you.